You're listening to the Reluctant Adult Podcast. If you like what you're hearing, follow us on social media and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. This is the way.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. There's a million.
This week from the internet, the war on Black Friday marches on as retailers further dilute the once great holiday with savings beyond the traditional week's end. Plus, it's a Green Ranger. Apparently, Kimberly and Tommy power coupled, and now the internet is bad. And Disney fans only want authentic representations of their mice, ducks, and dogs eating Thanksgiving dinner. Hey, I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here. It's the Reluctant Adult Podcast.
Don't you be a dummy! Buckle your safety belt!
Think, Billy. It's morphin' time!
Welcome to another episode of the Reluctant Adult Podcast. My name is Paul, and I am joined, as always, by the man who gobbles till he wobbles, but he never falls down. Bill!
Hi, everyone. That's right. All you have to do is feed me.
We've talked about weebles before, right? Weebles wobble, but they never fall over, never fall down.
Yeah, we used to talk about that at the back of the bus all the time.
Did we really?
Growing up.
Were weebles a big thing?
It's like our thing.
Into our teens?
Well into our teens.
No.
You know, even when you were driving me to school before I got my car, we were always talking about the Weebles.
Is that true? The Nerf? They were made by Nerf, right?
I'd be like, Paul, turn Howard Stern down.
Right.
It's time to talk about Weebles for 15 minutes.
Oh my God. Back in the day.
Back in the day. Hey, you know what though? Those car rides and getting there early to school, that really taught us how to back up into parking spaces because we were like old pros by the end of the year.
You know what? I do have the ability to back into a parking spot, and I don't have a backup camera. Like today, you get a new car, it's got all these, it'll basically do it for you. There's a button.
It will.
We went on a road trip this Thanksgiving, and we rented a van, and it had like all these features. Like you don't even have to open the door yourself. You press a button on the handle, and it slides open. Like wow.
You brush your leg underneath the back of it, and it just swishes
the
up.
trunk. Yeah, ours didn't have that, but it had a button on the key fob. The key fob is a crazy thing to me. It's like you just have to have it in the vicinity of the vehicle, and then you press a button. Like there's no, you don't insert a key, and then the shift knob. It's like the radio dial. You just turn it, and it's like That's not. It's like you're not actually shifting.
Oh, that's
I know. It's like
scary
that's
to
too
me.
easy. You go to change the dial on the radio.
I get worried.
Suddenly you're in reverse.
Oh my. Yeah.
That's why I feel like it must have some sort of fail-safe where it's like you're driving.
You'd hope.
You would hope. Thankfully, we didn't run into any issues with that. But it's a busy week. It was Thanksgiving. A lot of stuff happened in a week where CM Punk made his triumphant return to the WWE. That is not our top story. No, our top story is Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all the deals, or lack thereof, I guess you could say. But there were a few notable deals this Thanksgiving.
A couple things to get excited over, I'd say. Yeah.
What did you see? Well, what did you buy? First of all, did you actually partake in any of these deals?
I'm still in the midst of purchasing.
Sure,
because obviously
it's
take
a
the whole
multi-week. I think it's the whole rest of the
month.
year at this point. Like whatever doesn't sell in the Black Friday rolls into Cyber Monday, rolls into like pre-Christmas sales all the way through.
I think Black Friday as a day is gone, in my opinion.
Yes, I think we
companies,
can all agree.
retailers have decided, why not just give everybody the whole month, spread it out, entice people with things here and there. So they have pop-up. Amazon does like pop-up sales. Target does pre-Black Friday items, which I partook on. I've got the Mario and Luigi set. Well, not set, but the figures from the movie for $10 a piece.
Yeah,
love that. That's great.
Yeah, that's good. Again, why buy anything at full price if you wait?
Why? Just wait.
It doesn't seem like there's anything. Like, we used to be afraid if we didn't buy it when we saw it, we'd never see it again.
Gone. Yeah.
And that is sort of the case with some things.
Sure.
But I think it's becoming much more rare, and
I think so.
It's becoming the exception to the rule, and the rule is you're going to see this a lot, so much so that it's going to be cheaper at some point.
You and I are lifelong collectors of toys, so you know, to remove us from that mentality is very difficult to begin with.
Just because our brains.
We do. So I found that
concerned. Yeah.
Right. So I found that especially concerning with the indie line, even though it's kind of just come and gone. Yeah. But Hasbro Pulse had one of their funny sales that always gets laughed at for 35% off.
35% off.
But hey, I kind of filled up some gaps with the indie line. Got them for like $16 a piece. Very exciting.
I mean, you almost have to play the game now because that base price has bridged the $20 mark, and now $25 is pretty much standard, and nobody wants to pay $25 for a figure. Nobody wants to do it. So it's like you're waiting for those coupons, those like, because Target, especially now, they do like spend X amount of dollars, get $10 off. So today, for example, I found the Spider-Man No Way Home wave. Apparently today was the street date ended. It was lifted today. Okay. So people were finding. So I went to a Target I usually don't go to, and I found almost the entire wave. There was no Sandman, and there was no Doc Ock, but there was one Green Goblin. Yeah. So I don't know what that case pack out looks like.
What's your take on them? I don't know if I like them.
Well, I do really like them, but just to finish this point, there was I think like spend $60, get $10 off. So it was like saving like $333 per figure, which still more than $20 per figure, but brings it down a little bit. Right. So I love these figures. I think that the portraits are probably the best we're ever going to get in terms of little tiny heads that look like the people they're supposed to look like. Yeah. I think if I was to rank them from best to worst, I would go Tom Holland, the best. They captured such like a Tom Holland expression where he's sort of like looking at like in awe of something, or just sort of like, like just a little dumb. And I think that's like that's a good choice for this version of Spider-Man. Yeah. Andrew Garfield, I will put in that second slot. I think it's very good. I think you need to see these in person because there's a lot of shading almost.
I think I was seeing a lot of high res. I think I was seeing some high res imagery, which made it look a little flat. You're
looking a little. So if you're looking too close, if you have too many pixels, it's not going to work. But that's not the fault of the toy. Like, it's not meant to be looked at that closely. And then I still think that the Tobey Maguire figure looks great. I think there's just something either with like the haircut or something. And maybe that's what he looked like in this movie, but that's not what I think of him as looking like.
He's older.
He's older. It's older too, right? So I think just in my mind's eye, that's not what I think that he looked like as Spider-Man, even though it probably is.
You're looking at like, these are 20-year difference at that point?
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah. 2000, would it come out, 2002?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So there you go. Even longer. So I love them. I'm keeping this set mint on card because thank God plastic free is gone. Because imagine if these were trapped behind a cardboard wall. You have no idea what they look like. You have no idea what the paint applications looked like. Oh, sure. It would have been a tragedy. So I'm very happy these just have very clean cards. The figures are just out there. There's not a ton of extras with them, so like the figure is just right there on display.
Yeah. We
I have
use
another
these opportunities for sales, especially with Marvel Legends. I picked up the X-Men 97 wave.
Oh, you did? You got it.
I did get that.
You were holding out.
I wasn't willing to pay the base price of what is it, 25?
25, yeah, I think so.
I wasn't willing, but they knocked them all down. They knocked them all down to below $18 a piece.
There. Oh, well, that's great.
I hopped on board.
You have
Yes,
to. They're
you
great,
have to.
right? They're beautiful.
They're very nice. They are.
I might want to get a second set to open because, again, the carding is just so. It's a work of art. It's a piece of art. I'm gonna frame them, make a nice square or rectangle, whatever shape they would be. I love it. I'm so glad we're back to that. Yeah. So one of the biggest discounted items that is also something that's also like a good toy. Like sometimes things get discounted because nobody wants it. It's a piece of crap.
Sure.
But this is something that is actually a very good thing, but it was just like probably a little too expensive for the people buying the line. I'm talking, of course, about Mattel's Hammond Collection Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Ooh.
Here she is. She's a beaut. Look at her. Oh
What a
my
treat.
God. Look at this. The mouth opens. It has two different click points. So you can do like a warning mouth or like full mouth. Tongue is articulated and it's rubber.
Oh, very nice.
These little side parts of the mouth, like the little flaps. Those are like a soft rubber. It's actually kind of disturbing. You can pull it a little too far and it's like, oh, that's gross.
Oh, sure. The eye kind of follows you. It's got a nice lens to it.
Now, there was something where they went back and changed how the eye works. Did you see that? Okay. There's like a variation of this figure.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
I don't know. I saw a story about it, but I'm not sure of all the facts. But it's like if you look at the eye at the wrong angle, you can't see the pupil. So it's almost like a zombie T-Rex. But if you get it right, it looks great. It looks very nice.
Yeah.
Great articulation. Even the end of the tail is a little bendy. So you get a nice little bend. But it's like you get double jointed knees, double, what else we got? Little segmented neck. So it's like it hides the joints very well. Beautiful figure. $15.
Can't beat that.
What was it originally? 50, 40?
Around 4, I think it was $45, yeah.
Yeah. So this is what Mattel needs to do. Now, I know they want the human characters to be in scale with the dinosaurs so they can make like the Jeep and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Make a line of highly articulated dinosaurs that are the same size, not the same scale, but are the same size as that T-Rex, and just make that its own line. I want a Velociraptor that big with all that articulation. Ooh. Stegosaurus. Yeah. I don't want them to be in scale with each other. I don't care. I just want good dinosaur toys that are big.
My wife told my son he had too many dinosaurs this past weekend. Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense. What is too many dinosaurs?
He dumped out. He wanted a couple dinosaurs from his dinosaur box. He dumped out the whole box, and we're talking tote, on the floor, and she lost her mind. I don't think she realized how many dinosaurs he's accumulated within his lifespan. Mostly by me and my means, but
Well, sure.
Yeah.
From your Facebook market prowess, you were able to acquire those 3 giant dinosaurs for free.
I'm starting to see a lot more of that too. It seems like people get them and then they put them up on Marketplace for cheap.
They're too big?
Yeah, something about that. I don't know.
Damn.
They need to increase their living spaces in order to accommodate this stuff.
You're still using the Halloween cup, but we need to get you a Christmas cup.
They're too expensive.
I know. Well, I don't know because I would never pay. I would never pay any money for a cup. I don't care about the earth, so I just have the plastic Walmart waters. I don't like to refill my bottle.
Oh.
So, blame me. But I live in Florida, so we should get a lot of... We're going to feel the brunt of it first, so it's only fair. Were there any other big Black Friday deal? Oh, you know what? There was I think prior to the holiday, Target was doing like buy one get one half off on like a bunch of stuff. Like they do like Disney, WWE, like a bunch of big brands.
Yeah, this
so
is
that
Target.
sale, this is Target. So that sale was running concurrently with the Black Friday deals, and they discounted that 4-pack of WWE guys that had like Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, Becky Lynch, and The Rock when he was Rocky Maivia. So that set was on, it was like 60-40 or something like that, and then it was BOGO. So you could get 2 for less than the price of 1 originally. So
it's just really, it is exciting. It's fun to just, like you said, the best time to be a collector at this point is hunting the sales and hunting the clearances, not necessarily getting it when it first shows up. That's old hat. You save that for the TMNT guys now at this point. They still get the thrill out of finding it first.
The who?
The
like the
Teenage
Facebook
Mutant
guys?
Ninja Turtle guys. Yeah, those guys.
Yeah,
The TMNT guys. Yeah.
The Party Wagon
They,
Facebook guys. Yeah.
Sure. They love finding stuff first.
Well, that's fine. I mean, it's nice. I think that maybe that it's finding toys when they first come out is a young man's game.
It really is.
We don't have young men energy or money anymore. We have reluctant adult responsibilities. So like
I'll support my kids when it's their turn to go out into the world and be like,
right.
I brought
We'll
my
pass on
dad.
our knowledge.
I brought my dad.
We'll take them. We'll drive them to Target at
there we go.
Whatever they open, 7 a.m. in the morning.
Oh wow.
I'm trying to think. I feel like there was some more like.
There's plenty of sales. A lot
stuff.
of things did like buy 2 get 1 free.
That's always
which
confusing.
You really had to search for it, and there was no coupon code attached to it. Yeah,
I don't like when I have to buy more than one thing. It's like that T-Rex. It was what it was.
Right.
Even with the like buy one get one half off, I'm like, well, I got to buy 2 things, and like I'm probably gonna buy 2 of the same thing because I want to get the most value. So unless there's,
of course,
like if there's not something else the same price, I don't want to like get something that's like $10 for half off. Like that's just a waste of the promotion. So then I end up with like 2 of the same thing. It's like, what do I do with this? Do I sell it? So that's annoying. Mattel Creations, which is like Mattel's online portal for like selling their own stuff, they were doing buy one get one free, not even half off, buy one get one free, and there's a ton of WWE stuff on there. They had like the big authentic scale ring that's like $150. So you buy one, you get one free. If you can sell it, it's like you're getting one for $70. It's pretty. I mean, if you can make it work, you got to put in a little legwork on the back end, but it's a good deal if you can make it work. But here's the thing. I would always take advantage of these deals and then not do the legwork, so I just have 2 of the same thing. So it's like, they tricked me. Like, I'm just ending up with this product I don't have any need for.
Was it GameStop did like their clearance sale? I think they took a percentage off of anything that was clearance. So this time they didn't jack the price up of the clearance back up to the original cost.
Well, that's nice.
So you could get like Boglins for $12. It was not bad.
Oh damn. Those Boglins.
It might still be going. I don't know.
I'm
big into Boglins.
I think I have all the Boglins. We went Boglin crazy during that original 50% off clearance sale.
It was
It was fun. But now I'm sort of like, I don't know what I thought I was going to do with the Boglins. Like once I had them, I was like, I'm gonna do puppet shows. But like, no, they're just kind of sitting around, waiting for them to deteriorate like the original ones.
Right. I think there's a gentleman on social media. He runs a bizarre toy shop called, I think it was the Gnarly Toy Box or something like that. I mean, you might see him. He takes like hat racks, like hat holders for the wall, and that's how he presents them.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Just put them on the wall like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I kept all the boxes they came in because that's sort of a nice way to display them because then you can stack them. I think I have one behind me.
I've got all mine nicely stacked. I didn't open a single one, so they can just rot in their
Not
boxes.
even to like play with it.
Well, I got the one, the Skelebaglin. I don't know. You open one and like 100% of it's the presentation of the whole thing.
But they don't even have their arms attached in the box. You have to or their tail. You have to
the tail
assemble them.
Ugh.
But then you got to be able to play with the eyes. Like, you have to play with it and get good at it.
I have a Boglin.
It's not
open.
like you can just
I'm
immediately
right at
open a Boglin and be a Boglin puppeteer. Like, it takes practice.
Puppetry of the Boglin.
Remember Puppetry of the Penis? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
that was
I do.
That was like allowed to be a mainstream thing. Like, we were just fine with that. Like, what was going on in that part of the timeline that we're currently in?
I don't know.
It's just okay. Because it went from, what was it? There was like the male strip show or something. There was like another thing.
Okay.
I thought there was like something else. It was like, you know, like Magic Mike, and then they did like the like unattractive bodies version of Magic Mike, and everyone was like, ah. And then they just had these dudes out here like
the full Monty.
The full Monty, yes.
Yes.
So then that, like, this was like when like Leno was on, because I remember like that was, he would like have them on, and then they just had these dudes like manipulating their junk, making like shadow puppets, and like what could you imagine today? Like, how would that be allowed?
Be some very, very underground stuff at this point, I feel like.
Yes.
You know, it'd be like knock on the door and say the password so you can come in to watch Puppetry of the Penis.
It's like your aunt was going to the show. Like, it was totally acceptable. Like, how did we go from there to here in 10 years? What happened? I mean, we know what happened, but like, what the hell?
Yeah. I watched, so I got Peacock back.
Yeah.
For some reason, and I realized that The Office, but I realized that they've called them, I think they're just extended cuts, so they've integrated all the deleted scenes. Fan versions, that's what it is.
Fan something version, yeah.
So it's all the deleted scenes integrated into the episodes.
The worst. It's the worst. There's a reason these scenes were cut.
I have a hard time watching it.
Yeah,
and but at the same time, I'm like, there's some cringy stuff on this. Like, I don't think it's as funny as I used to think it was funny, and I used to just...
No, I disagree. I disagree with her. But even worse than the fan versions, because at least if you're watching those, you know what you've signed up for. They've just recut they're presenting them as the original episodes, but they've recut them. There's the episode, I forget what the main story is, but the B story is Pam is upset that nobody cleaned the microwave after somebody like made a mess in there, and she writes the sign. And then everyone's like, oh, the sign is worse than the mess. They added like a resolution to that storyline where Pam like says it was me. And then like Oscar is all indignant because like she didn't present herself as the writer of the note originally. Like, that's not in the actual cut, the original cut. It was so bizarre.
So you're saying you just watch the DVDs?
Well, I gave those all to Goodwill like 7 years ago. So, no, I love being able to just like hit two buttons on my TV.
Sure.
And it's playing, and it like remembers, and I can skip. Like the fact that I would have to take a DVD out, put it in, let it spin.
Oh yeah.
Like no, I'm not gonna do it.
No, I get
Find
it.
the menu. Get out of here. So I'm just, but you know, this is the big story now. Is physical media is going away. And then people, if you own the physical media, you are now the ambassador of that media. You are the caretaker of the physical media because they're not making any more of it.
Who called
so it's like
that
every DVD that goes lost, there's one less. At some point, there'll only be one left, and it might be yours.
Wasn't it Guillermo del Toro just said that? That we are the,
everybody's saying it. And then like Christopher Nolan is trying to get Oppenheimer on DVD. Like, that wasn't the original plan. He's literally putting a golden ticket in the boxes to get people to buy physical media. And if you get the golden ticket, you can go visit him on set on his next movie.
Oh, I thought he'd like sell you an atomic bomb or something with the golden ticket. Here you
go. Even better. So yeah, I don't know how we got here. You were talking about Peacock. What was I talking about? The Office.
Talking about The Office.
One of our trademark tangents. How did we get here? We'll never know. Here's a clean segue. TMNTMO2U.
Oh,
Turtles
to you
of
as well.
To you as well. People are finding these. I don't know from where. They're not like at Target yet. I don't know if they're going to be at Target at this point.
Chinese specialty shops.
Oh, you think they're like falling off the truck?
No. I think they're probably just getting like early samples of them. They're being very coy with the price too. I don't know what the price is.
Yeah, I didn't even really like consider the price until
Yeah.
last week when somebody had a mint on card photo, and it showed that there's a build a figure aspect to these toys.
Sure.
And you build the character that is known as Metal Boto.
Metalbotto.
Metalboto. That's got to be how they say it. So again, these are like mashups of He-Man and Turtle characters. So this is a mashup of Roboto and Metalhead because they're both like robot characters. So that makes sense, right?
Yep.
So
And then both
every
constructed
figure
by the science end of both properties. So
there you go. So every figure in the assortment comes with a piece to build Metal Boto, and that probably is going to jack up the price a little bit. So I don't know what do the origin figures go for? It's too much to begin with. Too much to begin with. Yeah, that was like the big like hindrance of those figures. Like why I didn't want to pay full price for anything.
Yeah.
So these are going to be even more. They're probably going to be $25.
Well, of course,
you should
because
know. Are they not up for pre-order anywhere?
I haven't seen them anywhere, and you know that
weird.
Mattel doesn't have the license for Turtles, so they're paying a licensing fee on that.
Well, I wonder if it's one of those share things.
Oh, you think so? I don't.
Well,
know.
I don't know. I don't
I
like.
feel like
I don't
feel
know.
like these are gonna. I feel like these are gonna be $22 a piece, and they're going to just fail.
I think that. Well, I don't think they're gonna fail because I think that people are pretty excited about these. But if I think 22 would be fine. I think if they're 25, you're gonna have a little bit of an issue. But I also don't know how many assortments they even plan to do. Like we see the first assortment doesn't have Michelangelo, so unless he's coming with like an a vehicle or something, there's got to at least be a second. And then we saw a picture of what was it, Teela in like turtle like shell looking gear.
Yeah, she's in the comic book. Or she's in the back animation.
So we don't know for certain that means she's getting a figure, but we
can flesh out a couple waves of characters from this.
Yeah.
Some core characters. Each property has the core characters that we'll see. Will we delve into like Snake Men? No, probably not, but
I mean, who's to say? This could do gangbusters. Well, honestly, this could be what revives He-Man as a retail property. It could. Nothing else has worked. Nothing else has done it. People don't care enough. There aren't enough people that care about He-Man for it to work at retail the way that Mattel wants it to.
That's true.
Maybe this is what does it.
Only carry the load for so much.
Right. Yeah. Nobody cares about his friends as much as they care about He-Man. So I'm very interested to see these figures. People are, like we said, people are starting to get them, and somebody took off the armor, and I was like immediately sort of like, ugh, because it's like very thin,
it's skinny. They look like You know what they look like? They look like Battletoads at that point.
Did they look like Battletoads? Ugh.
They looked. So one gentleman did a review on Donatello, removed everything because the shell piece actually is held in with like the belt, and then behind the physical shell is another impression of a shell on the back.
Okay.
But at that point, the belt can't hold anything else, so it just falls off. So it just looks super skinny. It looks like a Battletoad with a turtle head.
Because it's got the Dorito like waist, like Captain America, you know, like broad shoulders coming to a very thin waist, and that's not how the turtles work. Like they're basically bricks, like they're straight down. So it's weird to see them this way, but that's the He-Man aesthetic. So I think we just have to sort of accept that. The comic book art is very different from the card art, and it doesn't look anything to me. The turtles don't look anything like the figures, the comic book designs. Not necessarily a bad thing. It's just very different. But I don't know if that might be the case with all He-Man like art. Like the figures never match the comic exactly.
Yeah.
And we're just okay with that. I don't know. I'm not, but that's fine.
Who knows what was produced first? But that was always the trend too with a lot of the He-Man stuff. So maybe it's an homage to
that's
the
what I'm
old He-Man
saying.
comic books.
This is just in style of the He-Man stuff.
Right. Beastman and it was completely orange with a different face and everything like that.
That's why they've always done these like mini comic versions of the characters, the toys that look more like it. Yeah. this metal Bodo, which is the worst name ever, like
doesn't
first of
roll
all,
off the tongue.
Does not roll off the tongue. I'm not even sure because it's metal dash Bodo, so like Roboto, so it's Bodo, metal Bodo, not better.
Yeah,
that's not better. It could have been Robohead because it's metal head, so you could use the head. Yeah. Robohead, I think, is a much better name than metal Bodo. Yeah. It's just bad. It's just a bad name. I don't know. Nobody's naming their kid Metal Bodo. We didn't talk about this Mossman figure. This might be the best figure in this assortment.
I love that Mossman figure.
It almost looks like Brainiac, like translucent green, and then the tendrils, the purple tendrils.
I like that you can remove the head, the Beastman head, and then put on, and it almost looks like
a Venus flytrap.
Yeah, like it's very floral.
Yeah,
it has that floral aesthetic to it.
Mm-hmm. That's a great figure. Translucent. I always love that.
Yes.
And then there's Ram Man, which is another nice. So this is not Ram Man is not a mashup of two figures. It's just a mutated Ram Man that made him a ram. Because Ram Man was not a ram like the animal. He was like he would ram things with his head.
Right.
So this just made him look like the character, like the animal, a ram. Like he has horns now.
Okay.
Which is fine. I don't know. It looks like it's not like another translucent figure.
Do a reverse merman, and he's just a human. That would be something.
That would be. Ooh. There's a lot. There's a lot to do with this. I think these look fun. There's a Slash. I feel like Slash is a little too animated in his face. Like, I don't know.
He's a Fakor. He's like Fakor, right? He's got
he's Faker. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got like the robot bits are like slashed through the front of him. Yeah.
That's exciting. So they are cool. I just need to see.
They're cool.
Price.
I think
really
somebody had a lot of fun making these, and I think that's always important with toys, especially. So we'll see how they do. I definitely want to get my hands on them. I hope they're not super expensive. I wish somebody would say how much they cost so I could mentally prepare.
Send us some samples.
Listen, that's better. Not gonna. I don't even think Pixel Dan got any. You think they're gonna send us any? Get out of here.
It would be exciting if they did.
You know what?
Rub it in his face.
We are so appreciative when people trust us enough to send us products to review, and we've established these relationships with companies, and one of our favorite companies honestly is Zany Trains, and I have a new one here from our friend Zack Snyder. This is a very cool concept because you actually build the train using bricks that are very much like Lego bricks. Very high quality. What was that?
Build a train.
Build your own train. So obviously it gives you the instructions to build it exactly the way it was intended. Yeah. But you can do whatever you want. You can use your own bricks. I think that's the real fun thing here. So you can see
the Train Botto.
Train Botto, yeah. The this one is Rustin Dustin, and the bottom part
so cute.
With the wheels is still wood, but then it has a big flat brick on there that you build upon, and then you make your own brick. I'm not going to call it Lego because it's not Lego. It's this guy's bricks.
That's exciting. Wow.
So Zany Trains, you can get those on Amazon. Look up Zany Trains on Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. We love these small toy companies. Obviously we talk about Mattel and Hasbro a lot because they make a lot of the stuff that we've always collected.
They're mostly accessible. Like you can go down the street and walk into a store and see them.
Yeah, you can go to the Dollar Tree.
It doesn't take effort. It doesn't take effort, and it doesn't take the time to wait to see their products. But
you're not. I mean, well, there are a few things we have to kickstart from them, but a lot of these smaller companies, they work like a Kickstarter. So that's a good transition to talk about Fresh Monkey Fiction because they tried to follow up their Naughty or Nice Santa line with a Halloween themed Naughty or Nice, and unfortunately it didn't happen. Did not receive enough pre-orders for it to go into production. So that's what happens sometimes. Even though this company has been making stuff that people love, they're doing series 2 of Naughty or Nice, not everything gets made. People still have to pre-order the stuff because they don't have standing orders with big box stores like Target or Walmart. They still are dependent on word of mouth, good reviews. People will go on YouTube, they will go on TikTok. If they see the product, they'll order it. So we're trying to help out. So if you want us to help you out, send us whatever and we'll talk about it. But if it sucks, we're going to let you know. So let that be the caveat. If it's bad, don't send it to us because we're going to tell people it's bad and that probably won't help.
Well, it'll help the consumer make a better decision.
Well, that's true. I guess we're all about helping the consumer. Bill, have you ever seen that Thanksgiving photo with all the Disney characters based on a Norman Rockwell painting?
Have I ever seen it?
Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, the Norman. I actually did a version of that for our slasher group a couple of years back.
It's a very famous painting. People love to lampoon it. It's just, it's a very recognizable image.
It is.
Disney released an updated version this week, and people are losing their ever-loving minds over it because they think it's made using AI.
Okay.
And if you look at it, it has those hyper-realistic similarities to what people are getting from these AI prompts. And there are a few little telltale signs that maybe this was made by a robot and not people. Like if you look at the food on the table, the celery is sort of in front of the glass, which is like a weird thing that probably would not have happened if it was someone drawing it.
Sure.
But the idea here is the original Disney version of this painting was made in 1993, so it had characters like Roger Rabbit, who his movie was out that year, so that was a big thing. It had the Bears from the Bears Jamboree. That was like a new ride. So they were pushing these very specific characters, not like evergreen characters, as it turned out. Okay. So this new version has more of like the core, like the Fab Five, if you've ever heard that term. So like Goofy's on there, but then his son Max is also there because I imagine if Goofy was coming to your Thanksgiving dinner, he would bring his son.
Okay, yeah.
But so the original one was like painted and it looked like the cartoons. This is supposed to look like the walk around characters in the parks, like people in costumes. So already right off the bat, you have those dead eyes where it's like, where are you looking? What are you doing? Like, you have that one expression and it's just like some of the heads are turned at a weird angle. So it's just weird right off the bat. So Disney has not like confirmed whether this is made with AI or not, but people have already just like confirmed themselves. Like they're self-confirming that this was made with AI because there's some weirdness to it.
Oh, I didn't analyze it that much, but I did see it making the rounds on TikTok. I was like, that's okay. That's fine.
If they really wanted to do it, why couldn't they just get the people in costumes in there and take a photograph of them?
They could have done that. Probably would have cost too much money.
But you think they're not paying those? They're not paying the kids in those costumes any. Then what are you talking about?
No, I know they're not. But the AI can generate that. Probably generated it in like 10 minutes with a little bit of tweaking here and there.
10 seconds, yeah.
And they would have to get those costume characters in an all-day thing.
All-day thing.
Change it to the lighting department and editing and everything else. Oh my God. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Well, I think that's so people are mad because it's AI and they're like, you took my job. You're taking our jobs. Yeah. And I get it. If you're an artist right now, you're in this world, you're freaking out because AI is doing these things and it's like stealing your work. Like that's how you view it. It's stealing my work because it's scouring the internet and my photos are on the internet. So it's using that to create new art, even though that's kind of what we do anyways. We are like inspired by other art, but they see this as taking it a step too far.
Of course, so and they can't band together and start like an artists union and have an artist strike because no one's going to be like, whatever.
Right. They're kind of stuck. They're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
That's when you live the boho life. Sometimes there are some downsides. Sure. But I do think it's interesting because you're mad because AI made this. But if, like you were saying, if the only other way to make this was to do an all-day shoot and then have all this additional editing, they probably just wouldn't have done it. So are you saying that you would prefer that this doesn't exist rather than it be made with AI? Like if AI is the only way this is going to happen, would you rather it just doesn't happen? Like, is that the argument? And that's where I'm sort of like, I at least want to see it. Like we can, put the asterisk up there and say like this was made with AI. Fine, whatever that means to you. But like I still want to see it and see what can be done. But not everybody thinks that way. And it's a little tricky because you don't know how people feel. Like we definitely have some friends out there that are very anti-AI in this way. And you have to like sort of be like cautious around them because you don't want to like alienate yourself. You don't want to be like labeled pro AI. I don't even know.
Pro AI.
I'm an AI ableist.
enthusiast.
AI enthusiast.
ableist.
I mean, I think if you've watched the show for a while, you know that we incorporate AI into a lot of the things we do on TikTok.
Right.
Because if not for that, it just wouldn't be. Like it would just look worse. Like I would it would like wouldn't have the rest of the picture. Like I don't have a team that helps me. Like it's just one. Yeah. I'm just one guy doing this. If it didn't have AI, it wouldn't exist.
Right, and then it wouldn't be as catchy.
It wouldn't be as catchy. It wouldn't be as fun. So I don't know. It's a very complicated argument, and I understand if it impacts you directly in a negative way, you're obviously going to feel a certain way. And I'm not currently on that side of it. Like maybe at some point I will be. Maybe there will be AI podcast hosts that like take our jobs.
Oh no!
But I know. What if we could just have AI do this for us and we just get our Saturday nights back? Wouldn't that be, now that you say that, there is something where it can record your voice. Yeah, what would you do if you had your Saturday nights free?
I got too many projects.
You got a lot of projects. You want to talk about any of them?
I got too many.
All right, that's fine. Moving on.
I feel like this has been a little bit of a secret for the last few months. Mostly because I don't want to invite the bad energy in.
Sure.
But you know the secret, and the secret will be finalized by the time this airs out to the universe.
That's when you're having the gender reassignment surgery.
Yeah, that's it. You're right.
You're becoming a man.
Never mind.
Bill's becoming a man. Congratulations.
No, becoming AI. That's my
You're getting the Elon chip implanted in
Yes. No. So we and my small family of four.
I think that's a pretty normal sized family. There's no reason to
but we live in a duplex. So we have 2 rooms. It's a good size. But we have a unit next to us that through circumstances has become available.
Yes.
So we have the property. It's not like your typical situation where there's like a multiples. It's just us. It's just a single house.
It's just a house, and at some point someone decided to make it 2 houses.
Correct.
Sometimes you do back in the day.
So as of this recording, my wife and I will be purchasing the other side of said house.
Oh man, I really hope it goes well, because if this airs and you're like, oops.
It will create a super house. Do not worry. Everything is going great.
Duplex City. Oh, you should call it Duplex City. Yeah.
Duplex City. Ooh.
Oh no, I guess so. In wrestling, Brock Lesnar has a term, Suplex City. So you've created Duplex City, which means nothing to you because you don't watch wrestling.
No.
To me, it sounded very funny.
Everything.
It sounded very funny. Yes.
So we're closing by the time this airs on the podcasts wherever you have them served. Yeah. We will have closed, and it will be great, and we will double our occupancy, double our size. It is very
living
exciting.
The dream.
Living
2
the dream.
2 kitchens.
4 bathrooms.
2 rumpus rooms. 2 observatories.
4
2
bathrooms.
grandfather clocks that you press.
Why are you ignoring it? I'll have 4 bathrooms.
Around.
Why are you ignoring this? I'll have 4 bathrooms.
4 bathrooms. I'm seeing double. 4 crusties.
There it is.
There
Simpsons
it is.
quote
our
of the week.
Simpsons reference of the week. Well, that's very big news. I'm very jealous. I'm actually not, but I'm just very happy for you that you.
Yes.
I know you've outgrown your space, and your toys need
they need to breathe.
They need the space. You're gonna let them breathe. You're gonna let them breathe.
Gotta let them breathe. I gotta start opening
Mr. Stevie. Oh my God!
Ripping them open.
Please record it. We need content for YouTube, please.
But no, this second side has a partially finished room to it, so that is going to become my new studio space, so I can have something a little bit more exciting than action. My vintage collection behind me, I'll have something a little bit more akin to.
I like your background.
It's fun, but I'd like something a little bit more where I can show off variety, as opposed to just Bill being the Star Wars guy.
There's so much more to Bill than Star
There's so
Wars.
many. I'm
There's
such
Star
a more
Trek.
well-rounded toy collector. There's Star Trek. There's Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar. I was gonna think of
how many other Star things?
Sequest.
Wait, where's my Sequest figure?
The Endor movies.
Oh, there he is. How did you know?
What the? How is this possible that you have a Sequest mints on card?
Mint
Why
on
do
card.
You have that? Why do
Roy
you have
Scheider,
that?
Captain Bridger. These things are great because I went to a toy show. I went to ChrisCon.
Yeah.
Was it ChrisCon? No, it was just a toy show. It wasn't ChrisCon. And someone was just giving these like for $5, and it was like,
well, for $5.
you just buy them for the heck of it. So I got a couple of that. I got some Stargate stuff.
Just think of all the time that figure probably spent in KB Toy Works.
Oh, of course.
probably
I'm
smells
surprised
like
it doesn't
KB
even
Toy
have
Works.
the sticker on it. It doesn't have the sticker on it.
It has the like 3 for $10 sticker.
I mean, you look at it. I mean, it's a very nice Roy Scheider.
No, I mean, those are just the Star Trek figures, right? Like it's Playmates is exact like the same stupid weird.
This is Playmates,
cuts.
but no,
they have like the bodies, like the weird Playmates bodies that they were doing back then with the Star Trek.
I don't think so. He's got
like some of them have elbow articulation and they have like a weird like bicep swivel.
He's got a bicep swivel and he's got the elbow and he's got the shoulder. So, and then, I mean, he can sit.
There's no leg articulation though, right?
No, there is.
Oh, is there? I thought the Star Trek ones didn't have.
The Star Trek
or
ones
they had,
were
like,
wonky.
The v.
They had a V. These have a
V
straight
crotch,
cut. Yeah, these have a straight cut.
Yeah, that's better.
So like you'd sit them in the shuttle and they'd be like,
I know, spread eagle. Stupid.
What are you doing, number one? Trying to fly the ship.
God.
Ah!
Very good, Bill. We're very excited
Yes.
for you.
So
I'm
big things are coming.
I'm almost as excited for you as I was last night during WWE Survivor Series when Chicago's own CM Punk returned after nearly 10 years away. We don't count that little stretch in AEW. No, we do. We have to talk about that. So it was the ultimate. Would they? Wouldn't they? His hometown. People really wanted this to happen because he came back to wrestling after a long time, a couple of years ago, AEW. It didn't work out. There were some behind the scene personalities. They didn't make it. Now people are starting to wonder whether he, coming back to AEW sort of brought back his love of wrestling, but then he sort of saw the difference between AEW and what the WWE was, and he was like, I want to be back there. So he sort of he was greasing the wheels, and then he had a contract and they weren't just going to let him out. So he did something and they fired him. Oh. And then he was free. But then the story was WWE doesn't want him. They don't need him. They don't want that bad energy. They remembered how it was. Never again, wrestlers from the WWE were doing interviews. They were asked the question, would you be open to Punk returning? Seth Rollins, no, he's a cancer. He called him a cancer.
Oh, no.
Last night, show ends. Randy Orton makes his return. Everyone's like, okay, great show. I guess that's it. The little logo in the corner of the screen pops up, and that means it's over. Good night, folks. Turn off your TVs. But wait a minute. That static, that classic static, followed up by Cult of Personality. CM Punk is there. He's in Chicago. He walks out in a plain white t-shirt. And he does nothing. He says hello to the fans. He goes and hugs some people in the audience. And that's it. The show ends. So obviously everyone, Buzz, what's going to happen? Here's the thing. We live in a world where everybody has a cell phone. Everyone has a smartphone with a camera. We didn't see the reaction of the people still in the ring. There were a bunch of people. It was a big match. It was like an 8-10 man match, I think.
Yeah.
So people had cell phone footage of the reaction of the wrestlers because we don't know if they knew this was happening. This was a surprise to almost everyone. Now, some stories say the wrestlers in the main event were told right before so that they didn't do anything to disrupt this, because they could, if they ran back to the entrance, they would have ruined it. So you had to at least have them stay there. But you have Seth Rollins, who has been very, very vocal about his displeasure, distaste for CM Punk, and he looked very mad. He was flipping the bird. He had to be held back by announcers. He's like, hold me back. So everyone, the internet, because this was not official footage, it wasn't shown on TV, there would be no reason for him to be in character. This must be his real reaction to CM Punk returning. Oh. And I think we're a little smart in that. This is part of the game. WWE knows that people will have phones and they'll show this. This was brilliant. This was great. These are storylines that are already pre-written, and it's exciting because there's that realness to it. This is what I always talk about. This is when wrestling is good, when you can merge the real emotions and you have performers who can pull it off, and CM Punk can pull it off. People hate him. People love him. That is a recipe for good television. It's the end of the year, but January means Royal Rumble. Road to WrestleMania, the best time of the year to be a wrestling fan. This could be the best stretch in terms of quality television for WWE in a long time. Vince is gone. Triple H is behind the wheel. I don't know. I feel bad for AEW at the moment, but I don't know. They backed the wrong horse. They backed the Elite over CM Punk, and I think that was a mistake, and that in the end could prove to be a fatal mistake, and we will see. But it was actually a very, very big CM Punk weekend for me because I found his Supreme figure Walmart exclusive. Look at this.
Oh, look at him.
Now, the cool thing about this figure is he has the butterfly joints, which allow his arms to move inward. So he can do the cross-armed pose that he does. And then he has alternate hands that are like slap hands. So he can do like the go to sleep where he like puts two hands like, I'm going to sleep. You're going to sleep. These figures are so funny. They're expensive. They're $40. You get the one figure, and then you just get like extra legs.
Look at
So
that.
you get like 1.5 figures because you get a bunch of different heads. You have the one head, you have the two heads, three heads, and then this like disheveled looking head, and you get a bunch of hands. But like the second pair of legs kills me because it's like, I guess if you had another torso, you could throw it on there. But I think like drop the price $10 and you have a much more attractive product, because I mean, come on.
How do they even package the legs?
They actually do a very nice job with the packaging. It's not like, it's like they package stuff on the sides of it because it's a square box. So the front is great. It's a great display. It has like the entrance set up behind him in the plastic.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's a very attractive package. It's just like the line, the unrivaled Supreme figures, like that price point. I think it's just like, it's too much for retail. Like, it's just like, you don't have if every figure was CM Punk caliber, that's one thing, but you don't have enough guys and girls to make enough figures that people are willing to pay $40 per pop. That's too much.
That is a lot.
So this figure has been hard to find. Because it's a Walmart exclusive. You always get that runaround. And he went up for pre-order on the website, and I pre-ordered him, and I'm still waiting. So I knew that I can't rely on that because people have like pre-ordered since, and they already got the figure. So like nothing about Walmart's pre-order system makes any sense.
Doesn't.
So I was going out of town for Thanksgiving, and on the website you can put like search within 50 miles of my zip code.
Yeah.
So I put in my destination zip code, and sure enough, there were, I think, 2 Walmarts within driving distance.
Oh, very good.
So
Walmart vacation.
I only had to drive 6 hours from my home to get the CM Punk, and it was totally worth it.
But
best figure ever. Best in the world.
There you go. At least you had a destination. It wasn't just for the figure.
I mean, honestly, If I didn't get this figure, I don't know how I would have felt about the trip, because that's a lot of miles. But anyway, so that was exciting. That was an exciting thing that happened. Another exciting thing: Power Ranger fans are reacting to the news that Amy Jo Johnson, the original Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger, is writing a new Ranger story for Boom Comics that will introduce a new female Green Ranger who is Kimberly's daughter with Tommy.
What?
Yeah. So in the current canon in the comics, Tommy is married to Kat.
Yeah.
Who became the Pink Ranger when Kimberly left.
Right.
And they have a son named JJ, who's part of the SPD. He's SPD Green, but he also has the Dragon Shield.
Okay.
So this is a departure from canon. And it's being pitched as like an Elseworlds kind of thing to not like screw everything up. But people have a lot of feelings about this. And they feel like that the actors should not have control over their characters.
Okay.
So clearly, Amy Jo Johnson feels like her character, Kimberly, should have always stayed with Tommy, and they shouldn't have brought in this new floozy.
Well, she should have stayed on the show then.
She should have stayed on the show. Yeah,
stayed put.
That's right. People had to move on. Characters had to move on. But how do you feel about that? How do you feel about actors? What if Robert Downey Jr. came out and was like, you know what? Tony Stark's not dead. He's in the Phantom Zone, or what? He's in the Quantum Zone. I have inside information.
I'm writing this comic book. I feel like at that point, you do whatever the heck you want in a comic book. I'm not going to pay attention to it. That's reserved. That's reserved for that total fan. That has to absorb every single meticulous detail of the property.
Those are the people that are going to be the most upset. Those are the people that are going to know every bit of media.
Minority. Yeah, and they're the people that you want to stay away from, in my opinion.
You don't want to.
You ruin the property at that point by being the know-it-all. Well, actually,
crowd. Yeah, worst crossover ever.
Actually,
but I just think it's interesting. Obviously, here's the other. Okay, so it goes a little deeper than this. So obviously, the actor who played Tommy, Jason David Frank, passed away over a year ago. It was the 1 year anniversary of his passing recently.
Yeah.
So people that were connected to him have been capitalizing on his name to make money for themselves. I think you can find a lot of examples. So people are now sort of like, well, wait a minute, isn't this sort of like he's gone? Why are you, using him in this way? He has a daughter. Jason David Frank has a daughter, Jenna Frank, who before like having Rangers at conventions and stuff was a thing. JDF really like was revolutionizing fan interaction through Instagram. Like I was following him on Instagram, and that was like the first celebrity, especially from Power Rangers, who was like, oh my God, that like this person from 25 years ago, suddenly he's like accessible and you can like see what he's doing. Like he's doing karate and stuff. It was so weird, but he would like include his daughter in a lot of this. So she sort of has grown up with it. The character design for this new character looks a lot like his daughter, Jenna Frank. So people think that this is a way of introducing her. And then if they ever do a live action version of this, obviously she has to play this character.
Clearly, this isn't a job for Pedro Pascal.
We got to get Pedro on this one. He could at least do the voiceover. It reminds me of when The Simpsons did a live thing with Homer, and they were using like this Adobe software, and then they had Dan Castellaneta. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, sure.
They had him doing it live, and then the software was able to animate Homer on the fly, and people were calling in, and he was responding. But he doesn't write the show. He doesn't know what Homer should say, and that even though he's been doing it for 30 years, whatever it's been, you still need a writer to write the voice of the character.
Right. Yeah,
so it was like not very. Voice. It was like the least Homer's ever been. It was so bizarre.
Oh, it's like when you go see Turtle Talk with Crush.
That's right. That's a very good example.
Deal with that.
So more drama in the Power Rangers universe, but that's pretty much all Power Ranger fans have right now because the series has ended. There's this hiatus that everyone has accepted, and the proposed showrunner for the reboot has taken on the new Karate Kid project, so he's off the board.
Oh.
So this hiatus may stretch out a little further than everyone was anticipating.
And on the 30th anniversary, no less.
Oh, my God.
Just salt in the wound.
I mean, 30 years was a good run. I think it might be over.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So McFarlane is doing this line of Batman the Animated Series re-releases because they're not original figures. They're the DC Direct figures with like awful cell shading. Like they're just, he's like slopping the paint on there. Like I hate it. I hate it so much. I can't tell you how much I hate it. But he did do one thing that I like. Originally in that DC Direct line, the only way to get the Alfred figure was to buy the Batcave, which was like a $multi-$100 playset.
And very boring.
It's very boring because it's just the big computer and then like it was all like it was boring.
It was like the Zordon's playset. It's just kind of like that.
And they didn't throw in the stupid like red car that never appeared in the series. There was no voice changing. It was it was basically a display piece, but it came with the only Alfred they ever made. So McFarlane re-releasing that figure as a Target exclusive. I was able to pre-order it from the Target website. It did show up.
Hooray!
Very, very similar to that one that came with the Batcave. The skin tone, I feel like, is a little more like obviously painted. I think the original one was cast in like a flesh tone, which I think gave those figures a much more realistic or like just I prefer that style. I don't like painted on flesh tones because it just looks a little inconsistent.
Look how fancy.
But it's nice to have it. I was trying to figure out, is this based on the original Batman the Animated Series or the new adventures? And clearly it's presented as being from the original because the character has the white to his eyes. In the new adventures, it's just the black pupil.
Yeah.
Like when Milhouse takes off his glasses, it's just the dot.
Right.
But I feel like the face is so thin that it looks more like the redesign. But officially it's from the animated series, so.
And officially, Todd McFarlane doesn't give an F.
I do wonder what his level of giving an F is with these. Because clearly he loves Batman and he loves making Batman figures. But I do wonder, like, I don't think he can't be involved in this part, right? There's like someone in charge of that stuff. Like he just wants to make the stupid Batman with a cape everywhere. Did you see that figure?
Yes.
It's like when you're trying to put your coat on, but the sleeves are inside out, and you're just like pushing through wherever you can find.
Oh, sure.
Very bizarre. Very bizarre.
He's always liked his capes.
He loves his capes. And if he didn't have capes, he would do like the chains. Or with Spider-Man, he would do the webbing before like he could get into capes. Yeah, he's always loved that. And not showing feet, but feet are hard to draw. I don't know. So Zuru, they do mini brands, which are these balls that like open up like an orange, like these different segments. Yeah. And they usually come with 5 different things. It's called like 5 surprise. They've been branching out. They did the Disney mini brands, which we were excited about for a minute. Yes. They're now doing books. Have you seen this?
I haven't seen
mini books, but they have printed pages. Like you can actually read it if you have a magnifying glass. It's crazy. But it's like I get one of those and be like, okay.
Yeah, you're not
gonna like read it. But also you're not gonna read this tiny book. But it would be cool to see it. Like I'd like to see one.
They gotta do the tiny VHS. I need to see it. That's what.
Yes, exactly. That's what we want. I want tiny, ancient technology. Yes. Give me the Atari. Give me the Super Nintendo. Like I know they do like the controllers for those, but no, I want tiny little consoles.
A tiny little Disney version.
They're really trying to branch out. So they're doing these NBA ballers. Okay. And basically, what you're getting is one figure. And technically, it comes with 5 things because it comes with a sticker. Some of them come with a sticker. It comes with like a piece of the floor. So if you got all of them, you could combine them to make the full court.
Sounds like a Happy Meal toy to me.
A little bit.
Really does.
It's got
all those Marvel figures. They all come with a base. You can connect the base.
Combine them.
Yeah.
Here's the back. The backboard is just cardboard, which is kind of sad.
I mean, hold that up against the starting lineup Hasbro figure. I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But that's just me.
But it's about the same price too when you can get them at TJ Maxx. I did pull a chase though.
Whoa!
So this is Jason Tatum from the Celtics. So I was happy to get a Celtics player, and this is a rare. It's labeled as rare because it's like his victory pose. It's like a specific pose.
Oh,
from
so it's
something.
not just like an away uniform. It's a pose.
Right. So they actually have 2. They have like the green uniform and the white uniform of him. But I think his like hands are down. So this is like because they do like the frozen moments with the mist with the like you know what I'm talking about, like the spaghetti on the spaghetti being like picked up by the fork. Right. Or like ketchup being poured. So this is like their version of the frozen moments.
Okay.
So if you like the NBA, maybe you like these. I
don't know.
They have no articulation. I really thought like at least the head would swivel. That's just one solid piece. It's like a pretty clean sculpt. It just is not a lot of detail. Yeah. But like I think if you like the NBA, you're like you just give it all to me. Little basketball. I mean, that's kind of cute. It doesn't. It's like a marble though. It doesn't have any bounce to it. That would have been cool if it was rubber.
That would have been fun. Texture.
I would have been. Yeah, a little texture. Yeah, that would have been good. No, it's like so shiny.
Shiny and smooth.
So that's
marble.
disappointing. So my review of those is. Sorry,
oh no!
But I guess I'm not the market. I want tiny things. These are technically tiny, but there's been so many that look just like this. There's like I can think of another one that looked almost exactly the same. Maybe if they did football. I'm just not into the NBA anymore.
Too squeaky.
We were just talking about Power Rangers and JDF. JDF, before his passing, his final project was this dragon, the White Dragon, I think it's called.
It was called the White Dragon, yes.
Somebody is making, I think Valverse is making toys. It's a 2-pack of the JDF character and then I guess like the villain in it. It's like the same costume but black. And then like pretty reasonable price, $60. Like the figures look fine.
Yeah.
It comes with an alternate head. So the way that JDF looked at the end, he had a mohawk. And so that's quite the departure from what we knew him as during Power Rangers. You pointed out that the unmasked head, the unhelmeted head, looks a lot like our friend Pixel Dan. And I was like, no. Like he wishes. But then I just, I used like my phone app to put the head on there and I was like, sure enough, it really, really does look like Pixel Dan. It
does.
So
he sent me that back and I was like,
yeah,
looks like he's just wearing a Pixel Dan latex mask.
It's just a Pixel Dan mask. So do with that information what you will. I don't know if that makes you want to go buy it, make your own Pixel Dan articulated action figure. I think Pixel Dan, I don't know if he was going to get one before this, but I think he needs to get one now.
Sure.
We got to put it next to your Major Bendy. Just like
forget
the way
about
that
selfie series, they're just making figures.
Forget about it. Yeah, the way that Dan Larson collects figures that look like him, like the Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah,
I think Pixel Dan needs to start his own collection of lookalikes. Did you
see? Why was Dan Larson in the news?
He was in the news. He was on the television news.
For what?
I think they were just like celebrating him doing a good job, and he's a local guy.
Okay.
I think that was it.
Oh, all
that's
right.
great.
I'm like worried. I'm like, oh, there's
I know,
sometimes
like,
two sides to the news. What did he do?
What did the police uncover? No, I think they were just like doing a nice like feature on like a local guy done good, like
good
some good news. Yeah, good. I mean, that was great. I mean, come on. It was funny because like the footage from the interview I think looked worse than the footage he captures of himself. So it's like his like shots were more professional looking than the actual like news people, but. It is what it is. Like I said, big week. Anything else that we really need to talk about?
You made this week bigger than I ever thought it could be.
I mean, there were a lot. We can save some of these things for next week because they're
Really? There's still more? I can't even think of it.
There's more. There's like Wallace and Gromit ran out of clay. Dozy, the Care Bears.
Still,
NECA's doing pre-RoboCop. Did you see that?
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, he's got the Alex Murphy, and he's just all getting blasted away. That's fun.
Ridiculous.
But you can just keep going after I leave, and you just have the show to yourself because I don't know what's a Dozy.
Dozy. Remember last week we were talking about we talked about
that scary thing that you had.
Right.
Dozy.
So we were talking about Cabbage Patch Kids last week, and then we started talking about just like other dolls during that period.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think of this doll that would light up. His face would light up, and I thought his eyes lit up, but really he had lips that were just made of light, and then his cheeks. So he would read to you like Teddy Ruxpin. You would put cassettes in him, and he had this big, giant, flat head, like a moon head, and he would talk to you, and his mouth would move by the lips turning on and off, and it was very disturbing. And his name was Dozy with several Z's, because like when you sleep, it makes zzz. That's how it does.
Yeah, I get you.
So there's not a lot of information on Dozy, but someone has a very extensive website for Dozy, and it's like the only website you need. It's like, we're good. Yeah. Nobody else needs to make any content for Dozy. No. This guy did it. All right. Well, I think that's it. All right. Anything else with this big week?
Got nothing.
All right. Very good. Well, you know what we say. We don't want to grow up, but we already did. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
I still wanna be a Toys R Us kid.